So, hello everybody, this is our third video about the SUZUKI Jimny and the parts you can add to it. And this is the first video where I'm talking English, because we have so many fans all over the world who are so passionate about this tiny off-roader. And yeah, they are all saying, hey, wow, I'm watching your videos, but I don't understand one word German. Of course, German is a hard language to learn, and I don't think my videos are a good lesson. But anyway, I can speak a little bit English, and of course I will have some German accent. And no offense to the German audience, I think you will also understand it. At the end, it's not important what I am saying, so this is also the lesson you will learn with this video. Perhaps some magic will be lost for all non-German speakers who watch the other videos and said, whoa, what is he talking about? It must be very important. In fact, it's not. Well, let's see. It's the first video, perhaps we can make another one. But anyway, this time we have a grey chimney. I have added some components which are already shown in the other videos. So the front grille, for example, the BF Goodrich mud terrain tires are fitted on the X-Works alloy rims. But this is a good point, because in the last video the mud terrain were with white lettering. But I have contacted BF Goodrich, and they confirmed that they have changed the production, and it's a KM3 model. The last one was the KM2 model, and the new model is not available with white lettering. So at the moment you can only have the all black tires, no matter if it's a mud terrain or it's all terrain. But it looks good anyway, and you see it's a real mad off-road look, because this is of course an off-road tire by nature. I have added the side body moldings, the protective rubber at the doors, the wind deflectors again. In the interior we have the center armrest added. So in this video there are 3 new articles. The first one is the tent you see right behind the chimney, which is also connected to the chimney, but it's more a gag than a real part. But the other 2 things are really very useful. The first thing is that we have changed again the halogen fog light daylight combination to a LED version. And this time it's from SUZUKI Netherlands. It's much more easier to install, and anyway the Austrian product isn't available anymore anyway, so yeah, that's a great alternative. And the other useful thing is the rear view camera, which is a genuine accessory part, which can easily upgrade the genuine infotainment system with the rear view function. So in this video I show how to install it, and I have already shown some parts of it in the installation video of the trailer hitch, and this time I have shown the entire process from the radio to the rear bumper and back again. I hope you enjoy the video, you leave some comments, and there we go. The first new thing we install into the chimney is the LED fog light and daytime running light combination, which is actually a genuine Suzuki accessory article from SUZUKI Netherlands. And yes, we have them in our online shop now. Well, it's much more visible than the X-Works halogen solution, of course, and it has a more modern look. And the outer circle are the LED daytime running light, and in the center, of course, is the LED fog light. Yeah, it's very easy to install, because it's just plug these to the vehicle harness and screw this to the position where the originally fitted lights are. And then we have to mount the control unit to a good place, and it's obviously very easy, as we have a self-bonding backside. And we can additionally use cable ties, which are also included. But let's stop talking and start working. And the best thing about these fog lights is that we can exchange them without removing the front bumper. We can access the fog lights from the tire side, because we can remove these clips and one screw here. And then we can pull back the inner fender and can easily access the plugs and remove the screws from the lights. Yeah, let's do it. So first of all, I remove this screw. Then I remove all clips of the front part of the inner fender. Then I will remove the outer one of these two screws here. So here we go. You already see the fog light, and yeah, you don't have to remove the entire inner fender. You can just hang it here, and then there's enough space to use both hands and also to enter the screwdriver to remove the screws. So I start to unplug the plugs. That's very easy. Then we can already use the screwdriver to get the fog light out. So, and that's it. We have removed the X-Works version of fog light. So, I unfold the harness here, and then there's the indicator where a top is. There's an arrow pointing to the top. And then we just enter it to the old position and take the screws which we removed some seconds ago. And then we tighten the screws again. So now we plug the harnesses, and well, we can't do anything wrong because they have different forms. And yeah. So all we have to do now is to find a good place for the control unit. So, and I personally prefer cable ties to bonding solutions. So let's make a combination of both. So I will lay it on the upside of the light itself. And then we tie the harness which is left over together. And then we create some kind of order here. Yes. And by the way, here is a hole to adjust the height of the fog light later when it's again on its wheel. Yeah, that's it. And the other side, of course, works the same. So the next thing we will install is the rear view camera. Well, there it is. And this one is a genuine Suzuki accessory part, so it fits perfectly to the infotainment system which is installed to the higher level models in Germany, but in other countries they only have that one, that panel with the touch screen and where you can navigate, but normally the camera is not installed yet. But with this kit you can upgrade your Jimny with that too. And well, of course there's a detailed manual with the package, but with this video you won't need a manual, of course. And let's start with this one. This is the harness which has a plug on one side, and on the other side it is still only the pins which are protected in that plastics. And here is the plug into which we have to pin the cables later. But that will be our last step. And then we have cable ties, of course. We have some protective pipe and two screws for fixing the camera. And also the place where the camera will be installed is already prepared. X-Works at the rear bumper. So that's a really great solution. And well, let's go into the car and start from the front. Then we will go to the rear of the car. Then we will start the installation and working us back to the front to the radio system. Let's go. We start to remove the radio system. Well, to remove the radio system, we have to remove this cover first, and for that you just need a plastic tool, and then you have to find a place where you can enter. Okay, this one is better. So then pull here, and the next thing is there are two screws, so we have to remove these two screws. And then we have to pull sharply to unlock the radio clips, and then we can pull the entire radio out. And the next step is to unplug the connections here, and it's quite easy because we don't have to remember where the plugs were, as they can only fit to one position, and also the color is different. And then we see here the green one, and this is going to be where our camera will be connected at the end. But we are at the beginning, so let's go ahead. So next thing is the speedometer. If you take the element here sharply and then pull backwards, you can unclip the cover. That's also good to go to the lower position of the steering wheel, and then you can remove this one, and then again some screws. They are the same size as the one from the radio, so we can throw them together, and then we take this one out, unplug it at the back side. Yeah. So next thing is this cover here, and it's just pulling it. Yes. So also some clips. So now we are in the feet compartment of the driver. There is the interior lining, which also has to be removed. It's actually the same procedure as with the tailor hitch installation, and well, but I think the last time I began at the rear of the car. So the clips solution is always to find the clipping point and then pull sharply so that the tension is as close as possible to the clip itself. So if you're pulling here, the force doesn't have to go through the entire part. If you work like that, you won't break any parts normally. So now we can remove here the front lining. Next thing we have to do is remove these clips here, and can't remember, do we have to remove that one too? Well, we will see. Okay, and this car is already equipped with the 12-volt supply in the luggage room. So when we pull these clips out, we will have here to unplug that one. So let's go to the front, and here's another clip to remove. Pull that one sharply up, and we could unplug that one too, but I think we won't need that because I just need some space to get the interior lining here unlocked and then removed from the car. Let's see what is hiding here. Nothing. Okay, we have to remove that one because it's laying on that cover here. Okay. So finally we have arrived where we want to get, because this is the place where we'll get from the inside to the outside. But first we will now remove the rear bumper and install the camera. So there are now two clips which have to be removed. And then we have to unclip the rear bumper at the side and on the other side, and then we can go backwards, and then we have to open the cover here. To get to the plug connector itself, and then we will unlock them too. Oh. And here we go. All right, now we do have the rear bumper from the back side, or the front side if you see it in the driving direction. And here is the place where the camera will be later, but there's a cover which we have to remove now. So, and to release that cover we have to push it down. Then we have to unplug the plug of the right tail light. So let's go ahead and remove this one, and then we can get to the cover where the rear camera will be installed. So there we go. And as we have released it already, we have to cut to remove this plastic, and then we fix this part again. We connect this connector and get it back into position. Okay, so now the camera can be installed. We don't have to think about the angle because that's all preset. And we go to position. There are two noses on both sides, one. And then we have the two screws which are included in the camera kit, and we use them to fix the camera. Okay, so now we have that protection pipe. And we go close to the camera, and then we take a tape and fix the end position. But I think that's just for the feeling, because here in the end, well, why should it need an extra protection? But anyway, we do it. So now we cut the pipe here, and then we tape that end too. to the cable. So, and this is where we will end with the camera side harness, and so we can tie the cable to the existing harness of the lights. Well, we can do the rest perhaps later, another tie. Alright, so the rear bumper is ready to be mounted, but we first have to install the camera harness of the vehicle side. And this is the end which is going outside. And that's also the reason why we do have these pins not connected to the plug, because now it's much thinner and we can go through the rubber seal, and yeah, we just make a small hole. We go from the outside to the inside, and then we just leave enough of the cable to easily connect the rear bumper. Yeah, and that's what we are doing now. So this is the rubber seal where the rest of the cable from the bumper is leaving the interior of the car. So, and now we just cut a small hole, and then we push the cable from the camera through that tiny hole, which could be perhaps a little bit too tiny. So there we go. And then we just pull and pull and pull. And be careful not to make any knots into the cable. So, and at the end, you just have to be at the same length as the rest of this cable here. And so we can orientate on these ones, and then we use the rest or some of the rest of the protection pipe and push it over. Perhaps we tape the end already together so it can't be lost. And then we go straight up to the seal, and then we cut it again to the correct length, and then we tape the end again as we already did with the other side. And now we tie the new cable to the already existing ones so that it cannot touch the exhaust, but it's far away, of course, so don't worry about that. But just to make some proper, clean work, we connect that to each other, and then we are finished with the outside of the car. Yes. So now we can connect all three cable connectors now. We close the cover, and then we reposition the rear bumper. We secure the bumper with the first clip, and then we can fix it with the second clip and the rest of the screws. Okay, so let's get this end of the cable to the radio. And yeah, we just follow the cables which are already here on the side, and then we will tie our new cable to the already existing ones. Yes, so let's do it. So by the way, the 12-volt connector is already pre-installed. So if you want to backfit your 12-volt plug, that's no problem, because it's just here. So now we just leave the thick cables here, just the bundle of cables here, to go to follow the cables which are going straight up, and that's the way we want to go. So now we can go easily with this cable in one hand on the back side of the dashboard to arrive. No, let's go to the upper hole on the back side of the speedometer, and there we just pull the rest of the cable out and go further to arrive just on the back side of our radio. That's it. So we will only tie the cable to the dashboard so that there won't be any noise because of that small tiny cable, but you also don't want it to fall down. And now we can unpack the pins. And so that we don't make any mistake now, we just have a look to the manual. So have a look at it. So here is the connector and the 5 cables, which are in fact only 3 cables, because we have just 3 colors. It's 3 times black, 1 time yellow and 1 time red. So yeah, the most important cables are yellow and red, or at least we concentrate on them first. So with this shutter, the pins will be locked. Let's start with the left from behind, and that's black. And now you have heard that it clicked. So the next cable is red. Okay. Then there's yellow. And 2 times black. And then we lock it. Ah yeah, okay. So now this cable has a plug on each side, so we are ready to connect that one to the radio. But we still have a lot of cable left, so we can make a loop and connect it again to the cables which are already in there. So now we take the radio, and as I mentioned, the colors and the forms make it nearly impossible. Not nearly, it is impossible to make a false connection here. So yeah. The only thing which can happen is that you forget to connect one, and that would be a pity. I cannot find any more. There would be 1 socket left, but well, no other cable is here. So we before we get back to the position, let's let's connect the tachometer first, because then we won't have any error codes when we turn the ignition on. Which is what I am doing now. So now the radio is back, and I just try to hold the camera so that you can see that all I do now is to switch to the rear, and immediately we do have a camera now. So it's without any further change of the settings. The system recognizes that now the camera plug is connected, and so now we do have the camera switched on as soon as we have shifted to the rear gear. Well, and there are these lines which could help us avoid any obstacles or to make some very cool maneuvers where everybody's thinking, whoa, this small car never has a rear camera. How can the driver make such a precise parking maneuver? But in fact, you do now have a camera. That's a cool point. And also, if you do have a trailer hitch here, you see perfectly how far the trailer still is away, and so you can make a point landing to connect your trailer to the car. I think a camera is always useful. It's not a question of a small car, or if you do have a big car where you don't know where the car ends. It's just the more information you have, the better the feeling gets. Yeah, so that's it. The rest is vice versa as at the beginning, so I just won't explain it again in detail. I would just leave the camera on. So for the chimney we do have a nice gadget. We have a tent we can add to the back of the car. So if you want to have a nice day on the beach or somewhere at the lake, to have some extra sun protection and also rain protection, you can have this cool tent. Yeah, let's see what Suzuki has imagined in combination with OGAWA. Yeah, let's build the tent. So as I'm building it the first time, everything is still packed as it is fabric. So we do have two poles which will be entered to the tent construction, and this is the tent itself. So that's of course quite simple. We have the poles and we will enter them to the tunnels here, and at the end we have the specs where the poles are fixed. So the tent structure itself is already set up. We will hook the tent here and on the other side too. So, and for the car side we will use these parts to get the tent fixed on the roof of the chimney. This nut has to be removed, and then the surface must be clean, of course, and then we push down the rubber seal here. We add this plastic, and here is the tent layer, and afterwards we fix everything together with that nut, and vacuum will be created by turning the nut down. So now it's a little bit windy, so I would love to have somebody to help me, but I will make it, I think so. So we have several positions where to position this tent on the car. And yeah, we will use the inner one. So the surface must be clean and free of dust. And yeah, I push it down and turn the nut down. Yeah, it's already fixed. And then I will secure the tent on this side too, because it's windy, as I told you. Yeah, so there it is. It's easy, it's fast, and well, you can do it alone too. And now you have a lovely place to stay with your chimney. Well, there are no lines included, but you can also pull it down, of course, at these points, and then it will be extra safe on windy conditions. Yes. yeah, I hope you liked it, and of course have a look into our online shop. We ship nearly worldwide, and yeah, if you have some questions, just leave some comments below the video, and of course you can also write us an email. I think for this year this will be the last video for the Jimny, because it's really hard to get one, as you know, of course yourself. And yeah, we will have also some new videos with some electro scooters, and yeah, perhaps we will also make some videos with the new Ignis, but this will only arrive in Germany in autumn, so I don't think this will happen this year.